Howdy, howdy. In this video, we're going to answer the question, is a laser engraver useful in a 3D print shop? And to answer that question, we're going to look at the AlgoLaser Pixi. This is a 10-watt laser engraver that was sent to me by AlgoLaser. And I'm going to take a look at it, set it up, and see how useful it will be. The plan is going to be to engrave several different items, including tumbler cups, wood, as well as PLA, of course, and just to see how beneficial it will be, if there is a use for it, and if I would recommend it for your 3D print shop. Stay tuned.
I was sent both the portable Pixi 10-watt laser engraver as well as the rotary attachment. Overall, the unboxing and setup was very streamlined, and really there was no way for you to get it wrong. So feel free to watch this sped up time lapse of my setup.
All right, now to test it, all I should have to do is load up my material, which I've already done, take the focus hammer, make sure it fits in underneath there, and it looks like we're actually pretty good. Line it up to how I'm looking. If for some reason it doesn't line up, all you gotta do is this little knob that you can twist right over here, and then we're just gonna load the project. So I did go ahead and load onto the card our design. Just lower settings. All right, so it finished. It did take about 17 minutes, but let's take a look and see how it went. Oh, that looks pretty good, actually. Looks like I put a little bit of a border there, but yeah, overall, pretty good. I'll do a few more tests and show you guys how it comes along. I've tested it with several prints now. I've even used the rotary tool, and I've tried several different material, from the birchwood to just a wood PLA to a matte PLA to a standard black PLA, as well as some metal business cards that came with it. Overall, it's working pretty good for any of the normal prints. Now, it is a little bit of a, it definitely takes a little bit of figuring it out to identify it, because although you have this big space down there, you actually only have 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters that you can do, which is less than this square. So you got to position it in there. There's a button that you can press. Let's just use an example. But yeah, so there's a button that you can press that will outline it to make sure that it's going to fit on it right. As long as you make sure it's within that period, you're good. And then, of course, we have to make sure that we use the focusing hammer and whatnot to make sure that it's nice and focused. Yeah, so here, I'll put this down in there. So see, that's right in the center. So you got to take the picture and put it right where you think you want it to go. But then you do that, and you see that blue laser. Well, I had that thing kind of right in the center, and it's still not. So you got to figure out where that placement is, and just make sure that the blue line goes. So once you kind of learn the nuances of that, it works pretty good. speed-wise, it's a little slower than I expected it to be for pictures, but this is also my first experience with lasers, so it's not too bad. I think the longest thing that I did was about 9 minutes, which I think was actually this picture right here. I've only cut out a few items. On the wood, it worked perfectly, as I would expect. I did try to do it on PLA, and it worked. However, there's definitely a lot of... I had to push it out, and it is a lot of... it's not a perfect look for it, but there might be a use case for it. I'm just still trying to figure that out. Now for the rotary tool. I did try, and had a really hard time getting it to work out. So even the picture that I engraved on there, you'll notice that it kind of warped. And that's my fault mostly, because this cup that I had ordered, it's not straight. It kind of curves down. And I didn't realize it. That would be a problem because it wasn't able to roll it perfectly. There might be a workaround for it. I'm still gonna toy with it and see, but I'm gonna try it with a tall one that doesn't kind of fold in and see how that works. Use cases for a 3D print shop. Well, I actually think engraving onto it, personalizing it would be great. I haven't had a chance to, but I'm even going to try to do it with like these little trays or some eggs. I'm going to try to see if I can engrave onto those just to do some more testing. So I'll be doing that here in a bit and see. One thing of note, this is a blue diode laser, and when I try to do it onto this blue silk, it would not go through. I do not know if that's because it's the silk material or if it's the blue diode laser, so I'm going to be testing that here in a minute as well. But yeah, this was an update. I'll get back to you with more. I've now used the AlgoLaser for about 2 weeks now, and I've learned quite a few things about it. One thing that I do like about it is it definitely has a focus on safety. In fact, if this is not down all the way, it will not allow it to go through unless you override the safety settings, which was something I had to do a few times whenever I was engraving anything that was larger or that this was setting up on. Now, the thing that I really do like about it is it has what's called algo type, which allows for you to just free type in here, and you can immediately engrave it right into an item. This will be great if you want to personalize something. And it's as simple as you just kind of do the size, you home it to line it up as to how you want it to look. Make sure that it fits the path in the item that you're engraving, and then you hit start, and it works perfectly fine. I think that's going to be the best use that I'm going to use it for, is to be able to add some personalized touch. From there, I'm also able to upload images right into it. Example, these are some samples that I had done, like this one right here of Goku doing a blast. And as you can see, it actually turned out pretty good, especially for a first shot. So, I mean, it's definitely got some neat features. You do have to upload it by either plugging it in or by using a flash drive. At least that's how I ended up doing it. Another part that I do like, and I did it, it's kind of a niche thing, but I did it a couple times. My daughter did it once, is it's this Algo Sketch. And this is where you're actually able to just draw right on the screen, and it'll engrave it right then. How useful is that going to be? I don't know. If you have kids, it's a cute little function. That'll be nice. So overall, what was my thoughts on it? I did test in wood, PLA, leather, and metal business cards. I also did PLA both in a black, a matte, a silk, and a few different colors. Okay. For wood, it's perfect. Works really easy. You're able to just engrave right into it. It looks really good. You're able to cut into it. No problems that I ran into. I will say, though, for the cutting, for any of them, you do need to use a third-party application if you're using a template that is not built into the AlgoLaser. So that is something to keep in mind. Lightburn seems to be the best one for it, but if you're able to utilize that, it looks like it's pretty straightforward. Now, as for PLA, wood PLA turns out great. Let's see. Black PLA, great. Matte turned out pretty decent. When you get into the shiny silk PLA, it's able to engrave into it, but a little bit harder to see. Now, what you will run into issues is engraving into white because it's a blue diode laser. It's not able to absorb in. Or into blue. I tried several times and I wasn't able to get it to go in. From what my research showed, it seems to be that would be the cause. So that would be kind of a restriction if you have something that's a little bit more bluish, like even this one right here I had tried. This has a blue and red into it. I wasn't able to engrave into it. So that is a limitation that I see from the blue diode laser, at least from what I understand. However, you're able to engrave into several different things. Like I even did some coasters, put my logo on it, or you could put someone's name on it if that's something that they would like. Now, as far as the laser cutting, I did try to laser cut through PLA, and it does work for the most part. However, it's definitely not clean. Like I could probably push this through and it's going to work, but there's going to be some cleanup you're going to have to do. Now, this might be something that I could have modified in Lightburn to be able to make it a little bit more detailed. I went with the base templates that was in there because I do not have the Lightburn application. But it's just something to keep in mind if you are looking at engraving and cutting through. But as far as engraving, works really good. The process is fairly simple. You just upload a image to your flash drive and plug it into the back of the engraver, or you can plug it in directly into your computer, and then you're able to transfer it via the USB disk option that's right here. Once you transfer it, it now gets embedded in the memory of it, and you're able to engrave it, no problems. From there, that's how I did my logo. I did this Goku image right here, and I did this little panda one, and it worked pretty straightforward. So overall, what do I think about the AlgoLaser, or really a laser engraver in a 3D print shop? I see it as having a use. I'm going to plan on bringing this when I do some outdoor markets. I'm going to look at cutting some nicer coasters, probably out of some bark, and offering that as a additional service option that I have. I will offer it for some users who may want it to be personalized on the spot, but there will be some restrictions and limitations that I'll have to do based on the color that they do. But it will be a service that I'm going to offer. It seems pretty straightforward enough to be able to get it all set up and use. So I do plan on integrating it in with my shops, but only when I do outdoor markets. That is one thing of note, is with this particular one, it does not have, with the AlgoLaser, it does not have a smoke purifier. It just has this hose, which works to direct it, but I essentially had to open my garage, move it closer out there to kind of billow it out, because it does produce a strong odor. So you'll bear that in mind. But if you're outside, that's not going to be a problem. So what's my thoughts on the AlgoLaser? I think it's a great entry-level machine. Now, I've never had experience with any other laser engravers to be able to speak to it. But for me, it was very straightforward. The OS is pretty easy to just pick up and use. I didn't feel as though I had to connect it to a computer, which is nice, especially if you're just putting a name on something. The machine ran pretty good for the most part. I did have a single issue with a sensor, but I was able to reach out to the support and they let me know what I was doing wrong that was preventing the issue, or that took care of the issue. But yeah, that's overall my thoughts on the AlgoLaser. Let me know if you have any questions about the laser engraving. Or if you have any experience with laser engraving, I'd love to get feedback from anyone who's used it. What is your experience with it? Thank you for watching.